Should I start? Hi, hello, hello, namaste, hola, chin, ciao, shalom, bok, bravo, marhaba, salute, salam, aloha, tere, ahoy, ciao. नारी गौरव है, अभिमान है, नारी नहीं रचा विधान है, हमारा नतमस्तक इन्हें प्रणाम है. I, Nidhi Jain, am your host for today. I am a PhD student at NIIT University, and we, that is NIIT University, is celebrating International Women's Day on 8th of March 2021 by hosting a webinar. The mission of NIIT University is engagement, global inspiration, and advancement of women in all subject disciplines. Dear audience, please write the name of women in chat box who inspired you recently. Before I go any further, can I make a request? Please take a moment and share this session with your peers and colleagues. We have pasted the YouTube link under the chat box. It would be great if everyone else also gets the opportunity to view the session just like us. I also request the audience to ask questions to the speakers. You can write your question in the chat box with the name of speakers to whom you want to ask this question. So today we have with us 6 amazing speakers who will be sharing their stories. When I say amazing, I mean it. What's special about these 6 is that they are action takers. They are the living proof that the distance between you and everything you want is the amount of action you take. As you listen to their stories, you will notice that at different stages in their lives, they said yes, even before they had the how figured out, and it paid off today. They will be sharing their experience to help you stay on the top. We also have Dr. Ritu Dangwal, who along with me will be moderating this session. Dr. Ritu is an associate professor, humanities and social sciences at NIIT University. Welcome, Dr. Ritu.
Thank you, Nidhi, and a hearty welcome to all our panelists and to the audience. Yes, women have left incredible footprints in all spheres of life. Technology and innovation, sports, building inclusive workspaces, visibility in creatives like poetry and dance. We definitely have some amazingly brilliant speakers to share their journey with us and celebrate this momentous day. Let us hear their inspirational stories. Over to you, Nidhi.
Thank you, Ritu ma'am. So without further delay, help me welcome our speakers for this evening. Today we have with us Professor Parimal Manke, the Women of Substance, Acting President and Vice President, NIIT University Neemrana. She is MSc, MSc, MTech and PhD from BITS Pilani. Has 45 years of experience in teaching and administration in higher education. As faculty member for 15 years and as a Dean Educational Consultancy, she participated in higher education innovations at BITS Pilani from the year 1975 to 1990. As a part of higher education wing at NIIT Limited from the year 1990 to 2007, she contributed to the design of innovative GNIIT program and development of international university linkages with GNIIT program. She contributed to the establishment of NIIT University and has held various offices of the university, namely Dean, Student Affairs, Registrar, Dean Academic Affairs, and currently she is the Vice President and Acting President, NIIT University. Her areas of expertise are science, technology and development, and higher education management. We are delighted to have you with us. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Nidhi. Professor Manke, here's your question. What message would you like to give to women out there who wish to gain leadership positions in their fields? Please relate it to your experience.
Thanks, Ritu, for asking a very tough question. And I think as I gather some thoughts towards answer, let me little bit digress. Firstly, I would like to wish a happy Women's Day to all women who are in this webinar and also to women of the world. I would like to congratulate women who are in leadership position in their fields. I would also like to acknowledge the support they would have received, the encouragement they would have got from their husbands, fathers, brothers, sons, and so on. I'm sure without which they could not have reached this position. Having said that, I would like to look at the position of women globally. Just for a minute, talking of leadership positions occupied by women globally, the scenario is encouraging but far from satisfactory. 40% of the global workforce is constituted by women. However, among the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, only 3% are women. And less than 15% corporate executives of top companies globally are women. So there is a large distance to cover. Picture varies between different countries, but overall women at the top are in small numbers. But there is a silver lining. The trend is moving upward. Sure. Now coming to your question, you wanted me to give a message. A single message is actually difficult because the issue is highly contextual. But I will try. You asked to relate with personal experiences. If I look back at my own journey, I think I was very fortunate to have the men in my family, whether it is father, then husband, then son, were very progressive. Also, the mentors with whom I worked in my workplaces, they were progressive, and I received unflinching support from one and all. Added to that, I happened to be in a higher education sector all through my work life. And it is a sector which is a sacred space to work in any day compared to many other fields. So I have been very fortunate, and I do not ever remember that gender occurred to me as a factor which was a showstopper for me from childhood till this date. Not that all may not be as fortunate, and I'm sure there are workplaces where women have issues. So my first message is that to women is that if you aspire, and you should aspire, to be moving up the ladder in your field, whatever it is, you must excel. You must excel in whatever you are doing and compete on your own merit. If you could not reach the place where you aspired to be, never ever externalize the reason without malice. Reflect on your own self and find ways of overcoming the limitations. The other path is a negative feelings. It generates negative feelings, and it will only halt your progress. But if you self-reflect, you will find ways of changing your own self and crossing the hurdles that you may be facing. Yes, the organizational processes, the organizational culture at the workplace have been shaped historically in the eyes of men. But there is a change slowly coming. And I'm sure with more and more women occupying the top positions, the organizational cultures and structures may also undergo a change. Similarly, the family values, the societal settings that you are in, and again, they are highly specific to country, to community, it is a very, very, that's why I said it is a very contextual issue. But they may pose extra expectations from you. You may feel at times that it is unreasonable to ask things from you, from family or relatives, extended family, since you are a career woman. And that may make your journey little difficult. But again, take that as a given reality and do not abandon your journey. What is most important is look at everything we are at a point of history, and in a historical evolution which will be slow. Things may take time, but again, you be the change agent. So keep up your journey. And most importantly, as you proceed and you occupy decision-making positions in your own way, try to rectify the inequity factor that may be existing in your work setting. Not only the gender-related inequity factor, but you address all factors that are responsible for inequity, and it is you who can do it once you are in decision-making position. In fact, that is a moral responsibility you should carry, and that's the only way that the organizational culture and the structures and processes will slowly change. It is the women who will be at the helm of affairs will change those which are currently more loaded or biased towards men. Well, and never, as I said, never externalize, do not carry any malice, but keep on your journey and be a role model for young women as well as men. I think this is a very short and crisp message I would like to my young, women here who should rightly be aspiring for occupying, and all the best to them. Thanks, Ritu.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such motivating and inspiring message. Next, we are delighted to welcome our next panelist, Corina Shujda from Romania. She is a school teacher and the Erasmus coordinator since 2017. She is responsible for the structure reforms and changes. She studied Romanian, mathematics, science, history, geography, arts, psychology, and pedagogy. She is a member of an NGO called Vatra and worked on a number of international projects as a partner coordinator or partner in many e-twinning projects since 2009. She is Erasmus Plus coordinator of 3 projects in European countries and Turkey. She is country director of International Youth Society, a committee member of EduClouds UK, and country director of Eco Training Center Sweden, writer of books, activist of human rights, a co-founder of Worldwide Green Project, and a founder of International Cultural Passport Project. Welcome, Corina.
Thank you, Nidhi. Corina, my question to you. One inspiring incident in your life that you would want to celebrate or share with us today?
I can't start without to say Happy International Women's Day to all of you, to all our women across the world, to our colleagues, our mothers, our sisters, our friends, and to all women in the world. About your questions, I would like to remember that it was maybe was happened yesterday was 2014 when I can say God put an angel in my way in the person of a wonderful lady, a very educated lady. She is one of the best educator from my country, Mrs. Juliana Chubuk. I could say that I have never known such a beautiful person in my life till that time. Mr. Juliana opened new ways for me to get to know. She involved me at that time in so many international projects. So I start to have more and more contacts from different countries. Um, at that time, I did not speak English, but I kept in touch with my colleagues using Google Translate. After that, in the next summer of 2015, I have the chance to know an extraordinary woman who changed my life as well. A special lady with a big heart. Also, Mrs. Isabel Kelariu. She started to publish several articles about me and my work on her website, Stories Kingdom World. By this, I was contacted by more and more people from my country and from different countries across the world. Of course, teachers from India as well, via Facebook and email. Of course, each of them wanted to be a partner in one project I was running at that time. But and one day, something unexpected and interesting in the same time happened to me. A teacher from India, this time was a man, Mr. Naveen Gautam, sent me a message and asked me to apply for an international award for Most Innovative Teacher of the Year in 2015. Along with this letter was attached a link that led me to the website of International Foundation in India called Bharti Global Foundation. At first, of course, I was skeptical, and I even joked. I said to myself, "Me, international award, haha, good joke." But I am a simple teacher. What innovation did I? However, Mr. Naveen insisted, so finally I said, okay, why not? Of course, I did not hurry to submit documents required for registration, but because Mr. Navid insisted, telling me that he followed my work and he really believed that I can be a winner, I start to prepare my documents, and with his help, of course, I upload on the site, and also I send via email to this foundation. So I filled in my CV, completed the application form. Then I scanned all the documents necessary, and also my picture. Of course, for this application, any teacher around the world can apply at that time, even now. Everyone who is active in the field of teaching and has been involved in several projects at the international level was can apply for this award. So there was, as I know, maybe 2,000 application, and something interesting was that on the blog of this organization, your friends, your colleagues, teachers, your partners have to write some comments for your work. And this was also interesting for me and a surprise, of course, because I never knew before how much appreciated I was by my colleagues. Of course, there was a period I was need to wait, and in a day I remember well because it was New Year evening. Mr. Naveen suggested me to go on the site and check the results. Even there was in the night. At first, I took he was joking, and only in the morning, maybe they will publish the final results. But the teacher, insisted on opening and watching the results. Of course, I started to have emotions. I was stressed. I felt unable to open the site. Finally, I arrived at the list of winners, and yes, I had the biggest surprise of my life. I was one of those who received the award. I believe I was dreaming. I believe nothing is true, but my name and picture was there, along with other 5 teachers in the world. Of course, I can't say how honored I felt at that time to receive this award. I just feel that the whole world was rewarded my work, and that everything I did was worth of efforts. I will never forget how those 3 people changed my life. That is why I consider them my angels. All the time I say they are my angels. I would like to thanks to those who believed in me and encouraged me, my guardian angels, as I like to call Mrs. Professor Iuliana Ciubuc, Romanian teacher, the one who initiated me in developing international projects. After that, Mrs. Isabel Chelariu, also Romanian writer, the one who made me a well-known teacher in my country, and not only in my country. And at least Mr. Naveen Gautam, the Indian teacher, the one who believed in me and who encouraged me to apply for this prestigious award. This was not an incident, but I can say was a blessing in my life. And yes, changed my life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Corina. Your global engagement and inspiration is the reason that we all are able to hear you. Audience, next we have with us Lady Diva Pallavi Sharma from India. Pallavi Sharma is a phenomenal dance teacher and also the founder of Mudra Dance Studio, an upcoming international dance academy. She has degrees in classical dance, folk dance, and Western dance, and holds the world record for the largest Lavani dance performance. Her students have performed in several renowned festivals, such as the Pune Festival, and she has also represented India in the International Dance Festival in Spain. She attended the International Space Development Conference, and her project was selected in the Teacher Liaison Program organized by Space Foundation, for which she traveled to Colorado, USA. Welcome, Pallavi.
Thank you, Nidhi. Pallavi, your question. What has helped you get to where you are? And what advice would you give to all the women out there who are starting their journey towards reaching their goals?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, NIT University, Ritu ma'am, Nidhi ma'am, for inviting me. Our belief controls results. If we don't believe in something, we will never act upon it. Hope is another aspect that contributes to one's success. When you choose hope, anything is possible. There are a lot of factors that have helped me get to where I am today. But the major contributor to my success has been self-belief. Self-belief is having enough confidence in yourself and your ability to reach your goal. When I was young, I had never thought of becoming a dance choreographer, let alone a teacher liaison officer. at Space Foundation. I married young when I had finished completing my post-graduation master's in advertising and public relation management at the age of 21. It was a new world, but I knew that I couldn't work a full-time job. Thus, I applied and started working as a dance teacher in a school. I shifted to new cities and managed to set up my dance classes in all of them, Nagpur, Pune, and Indore. In Pune, I was teaching dance in an ICSE school. And there I observed that the majority of the students were interested in Western dance. This is presently very common. I learned and taught these dances while trying to introduce them classical dances. I trained a few students in classical dance and they performed at the prestigious Pune festival, and dance was extremely appreciated. As same way, I choreographed dance for working women, student of blind school, college students. One day, a student of mine asked me how we can incorporate science into dance. That got me to thinking. You see, our society has this perception that art and science are completely independent fields. I took it upon me to find correlation between science and dance. And my very first research project, and my project was among the few projects selected worldwide. I was called to Colorado, USA, to come and be the part of the ceremony. And there we had a cultural exchange with the teachers and the students. I told them how my student in India touch my feet to take blessings before they start dancing. That left them astounded. They told me that they would visit India to see this, and we went on to perform there and share our culture. It was a new experience where I shared about our culture and education system. The very next year, I, along with my student, represent India at the International Dance Festival in Spain. But you know what they say, the world is round. A few years later, we shifted to Indore, my hometown. I started my dance studio, Mudra Dance Studio. A few years, my hometown, this was only possible because of my confidence and previous experience. Hope to keep going and be the best version of myself. Now I teach classical dance to my students around the globe and try to spread our culture. This was the result of hard work and, more importantly, self-belief. Out there is to believe in yourself and your skills. Have a passion, determination, confidence in whatever you do. Make your dream come true. It may take some time to get to where you want to be, but don't give up, don't go, keep going, keep moving, for success is not a destination, but an ongoing journey. Happy Women's Day to all smart and talented women out there and here in the conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pallavi, for spreading global, our Indian values globally, and such an important message that you have given to our audience. Next, I am excited and delighted to welcome our next panelist, Kathy Ho from USA. Providing quality education is difficult for students in isolation, but uniquely so for hospital school teachers. Yes, hospital school teachers, the concept we don't have in India. Kathy Ho from Packard Children's Hospital School at Stanford in Palo Alto, California, discusses how she brings science into the hospital classroom. She works hard to create interdisciplinary units for her students and strives to bring a global perspective into her classroom whenever possible. Her goal is to help children understand their connection to the outside world and their role in environmental conservation. Her current work, the LabSci Imagine project, is supported by the National Geographic Society, which develops virtual field trips to help bring nature for students who can't go out. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you,
Thank
Nidhi.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, Kathy, a question for you. Please share your success story with everyone, and please tell us, why is it important for a woman to be independent?
Well, good evening. And first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to be with you. And happy Women's Day to everyone. I think everyone's story is a success story, and I'm amazed by all the other panelists here and hearing their stories. I think because every one of us has faced obstacles and disappointments and failures, but we persevere and we continue on, and that means that we've all succeeded in some way. But I'd love to share with you my story and hopefully encourage you all to pursue your passions. So I'm an educator. I'm a hospital school teacher, and I work at the Children's Hospital at Stanford in California. And I'm also a National Geographic explorer, working to bring the outdoors into children who don't have the ability or the resources to experience nature firsthand. So a lot of this work is focused on STEM education, and I think this interest plays a large role in my story. I think STEM is pretty amazing, and I say that as someone who really came into it from the outside. I came to be involved in the math and science fields from a little bit of a different path, because when I was in college, I was an English major with an emphasis on American studies. I always loved reading and writing, and I still do a lot of both. And then I went to grad school in education, thinking I would be an English teacher. And I never thought that I was very good at math or science. In fact, when I was in high school, I actually got a 6% on an AP calculus test. In fact, I wasn't actually even supposed to be in that class, because the year before, when I was in pre-calculus, there was another Kathy Ho in the same class as me, and the teacher got our grades mixed up. So voila, I was in this class that was a little bit too hard for me. But even though I struggled with math in high school, I always loved the STEM fields. I was interested in animals and the outdoors and how things worked, and numbers. And I was always asking questions. And I ended up actually becoming a math tutor. And I think because I really knew what it felt like to be frustrated by a subject and not understand it, it helped me learn how to explain it in different ways so that someone could understand. So then I was hired initially as a math teacher at the hospital school. And now I get to teach all subjects because I'm the high school teacher, the only high school teacher at our hospital. So it's great because I'm not just teaching math, but I get to teach science and history and art and English. And being at the hospital, seeing the limitations of the students in the hospital really helped guide my focus to trying to help all students with limited resources. And that's what helped me get involved with National Geographic. I was first chosen as a National Geographic Grosvenor Teacher Fellow. And that meant I traveled up to the Arctic Svalbard to learn about polar bears and climate change and the Arctic biome, and bring that information back to share with students. And then the next year I became an explorer, and I began creating virtual field trips to national parks across the United States. And I got to go to some of the most amazing natural places in the world and talk to interpretive rangers and gather information and bring that back to the classroom environment. And it was really an amazing journey because I love national parks. So suddenly work became not work. So to me, being independent really means you're free to explore what you want. It's about being curious about the world around you and being passionate about those curiosities, and about stepping outside of your comfort zone, and being adventurous enough to explore the ideas and the things around you that maybe you aren't familiar or comfortable with, and trying to understand that a little bit better. And it's about being courageous enough to ask questions and to seek out answers. Because the more curious you are, the more the world just opens up to you, and the more places and ideas you have to explore. I think a lot of what I've done is because I'm lucky enough to be allowed to pave my own path and start delving into the things that I'm curious about. So I really value my independence because it has really opened up the world to me. And I know that it's not so simple to say that you have complete control of your own life. There's always outside pressures, maybe from your parents, or from a boyfriend or a husband, or from society as a whole and the expectations that it has on us. And we all have to live within our families and communities. And as women, it's kind of ingrained in us to make peace and to not rock the boat. But doing so, that doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your entire self. It's so important for women to stay strong and independent and not let others make our decisions for us. So don't let someone else stop you from achieving your goals. Being independent means you are comfortable with yourself. So be proud of your ideas and your dreams and your personalities and your quirkiness. Be a positive thinker. Have the confidence and the courage to make your own choices and have the strength to voice your thoughts and opinions. And I think it's really important that we support other people, especially other women, and call people out when they disrespect you or they misbehave. It's important for us all to continue to be strong and capable and show our resilience and our abilities. And as we continue to achieve more, we become role models, not just for the young women who look up to us, but also to the young men who are looking and seeing what we're doing, because they need to look at our gender and see the amazing things that we can achieve. So be passionate about pursuing your curiosities. Don't be afraid to ask questions and try and maybe fail. Because just because you get a 6% on a subject today, maybe tomorrow you'll get hired to teach that subject. So our passions can be contagious, and that's important to the girls and the boys who follow us. So thank you so much, and everyone have a wonderful International Women's Day.
Thank you so much, Kathy. You're a true example to show us that women should not stop learning at all levels, and your passion and curiosity is going to take you to another level. Next, we have with us, and we are very much delighted to welcome our next speaker, Priyanka Roy Chaudhary. She is doctoral student at Warsaw University of Technology, Poland, and her research work is on the study of quark-gluon plasma state of matter within the STAR experiment, which is located at Brookhaven National Library, USA. Besides her PhD, she is working in the Space for Women project of Space Development Nexus. She is an alumni of International Space University, France, and one of the recipients of the Dr. Kalpana Chawla Scholarship. She is also a member of Space Generation Advisory Council. Welcome, Priyanka.
Thank you, Nidhi. Priyanka, your question. What inspired you to choose space exploration field and no other regular career? And do cite an example from your personal life.
Thank you, ma'am, for asking this question. And first of all, thanks to NIIT University for inviting me on this auspicious day. So I should say that my first inspiration, like many other Indian girls, was our one and only Dr. Kalpana Chawla, the famous Indo-American astronaut. So when I was at the age of 6, 7, from that time, I was very attracted towards the night sky, moon, stars, this kind of things. And at my very young age, that time the Columbia mission happened, which also increased my ease of exploring the space. So eventually, other legendary personalities like our space hero, Dr. Kalam, Dr. D.P. Dwari, the famous astrophysicist, space scientist, and the director of Birla Planetarium, so and many others. So I have come to know about their works, their lives. So this motivated me very much to step into this field. And I remember that when I was a school student, there was not much opportunity to access internets and smartphones, which are available nowadays very, very frequently. We can get some information very easily. But that time we were like dependent on TV shows. So I have remembered, like, I usually never missed the TV shows of Dr. Dwari, where he usually spoke about the eclipse, the ISRO and NASA space missions, and also some interesting space topics. So this is how I my inspiration generated in my mind, and I motivated myself to explore the space in future. And another most important reason why I could finally choose this space exploration field is my family support, obviously. So my parents always encouraged me towards science and technology. They bought me popular books on space topics, even when I was a child only. So that's how I think my thought process and my personality has been developed with the scientific approach. And even today, my parents attend almost all my public events to encourage me. For my audiences, I would like to share my career graph, like being a physicist, how I am stepped into the space community and the space industry field. For that, I want to share a few slides.
Till the time,
Yeah, so here
yes.
it is.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to say that as I choose the subject physics, I did my BSc and MSc in physics from Calcutta University and National Institute of Technology, Durgapur, India. And that time also, it was not very clear to me that how I can enter into the space community field. So eventually I took one internship in experimental nuclear physics at VCC, which is a research institute under Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. And then I got my PhD admission at my current university, Warsaw University of Technology. And meanwhile, what happened, I came to know about the International Space University, which actually was a turning point in my career, I can say. One of my friend, he actually suggested me to apply for the space studies program, which is a kind of internship kind of program, and in which there is a very good scope for Indian women also, because there is a scholarship called Dr. Kalpana Chawla Scholarship, funded by ISU. So he motivates me a lot to apply, but I was also like in a hesitation that I am from science background, and usually we know that people who are worked in the space industry, they are from the engineering background. So I was in hesitation, but still I applied there, and luckily I got selected, and I got the title of the Dr. Kalpana Chawla Scholarship. That is a really proud moment for me. Who was my inspiration at my childhood days, today I am carrying the title of her name. So that's a really very proud moment for me. So ISU is a new chapter in my life, I can say. And the picture I really want to share with all of you, that this is the last day of our ISP program. So it was a 5 weeks intense program, and we were 86 participants from 30 nationalities, from all were from different backgrounds. Like I was from physics background, some people were from aerospace, some people were from mechanical engineering, some people were from medical space medicine, and like in general medicine field, lawyers, artists, and many others. So we worked as a integrated team on our project, that was how to use the space assets to mitigate our COVID-19 and other pandemics. And we are very happy today that our project report is going to be presented in UN Coopers, which is going to held in April 2021. So that's a very honored. So we are feeling very honored for that. Our project is highly appreciated to many organizations. We have submitted our recommendations. So this is the certificate giving ceremony at the end of our ISP, and this is our ISU president and chancellor, and this is our captain and tech head. And I want to share with you that my another important chapter in my career is SDNX Space for Women initiative. So Space Development Nexus is a space-based startup in India, but we are working like internationally. Especially our Space for Women initiative is an collaborative project of national and international individuals and institutes, and we are open to all. So our main goal is to provide space education and hands-on sessions, especially to the women who are a bit underprivileged. And this is a entire social project, so we are trying to give our service as free of cost, or at a minimum cost. So this is how we have started our journey at the month of end of November 2020. And within this short period, we have around 100 women with us in our team. So we are very happy that within this short period, we have developed so much. And this is our contact information if any one of you are interested and want to know more details about us. So this is our website address. So please feel free to contact us, and to contact me personally if anybody want to do that. So I am open to that also. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. You can share the contact ID in the chat box.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, your talk was quite an inspirational one, and especially to the young generation, which is going into the space field. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Audience, till now you might be motivated. Please write motivated word if you're really motivated. Next, we are delighted to welcome our next speaker, Professor Mabel Quiroga. Professor Mabel Quiroga is the language teacher, teacher trainer, and education innovator with more than 30 years of experience in the field of language teaching and technology. As director and founder of Self-Organized Learning Environments, Argentina, she has conducted research at all levels of formal education and has spoken at national and regional conferences on the benefits and challenges of the SOL approach in mainstream education. Currently, she is devising training methods to involve whole families and local communities to use Soul to overcome the limitation that COVID lockdown has imposed on children all over the world. Welcome, Mabel.
Thank you, Nidhi. Mabel, your question. How did you develop as a teacher? And how did you use technology to help other women in their language growth?
Thank you for the question. Thank you for the invitation. What a pleasure to listen to all these accomplished women with their magnificent stories, which will be in turn an inspiration for other women and men as well. So a bit of a background on my personal journey. When it was time for me to settle on a profession, I did it the way we do it in Argentina. I went through a battery of vocational tests, but those confirmed something that I had already decided internally. That is, I was attracted to places where knowledge is generated and circulated. I had several teachers who had left a rich legacy for me in terms of good, implicit and explicit teaching. So I thought that I had a good idea of what it meant to educate. I liked the foreign and languages, so I decided I would be an English language teacher. And I joined Teachers Training College. 5 years later, I got my degree. And when I started assessing the impact of that part of my educational track, I found it awesome in terms of excellence and professionalism. But I also found that it was a little bit bent towards encyclopedia, and there was an element missing in terms of research as a pillar to education. So from then on, I thought I had to complete my education in terms of research and perhaps a more critical outlook on pedagogy. My career development at the beginning was strongly marked by working with adults. So I was a teacher and also academic coordinator for a language laboratory at the University of Buenos Aires. So in that capacity, I had to lead more than 100 teachers and care for the needs of 3,000 students. A big jump forward towards the 21st century, advent of technologies and their explosion and use in education. I joined the ranks of early adopters, and I advocate for the cause personally and professionally. And I have the opportunity and the honor to meet Dr. Sugata Mitra, a figure well known to many of you, researcher and innovator who leads very interesting and promising educational projects on technology and learning. And he jealously invites me to participate in some of those projects. My participation is peripheral in some cases, but what is important is that the contact with his projects kind of rekindles this need to go deep into research, to use research to guarantee education, and also his very interesting outlook on education, learning, etc., etc. I want to invite you now to sort of explore with me 3 terms that are used to characterize what teachers do day in, day out, which are teaching, that's a very common verb, it has translations into every language, implicit teachings, which I mentioned a few seconds ago, and the idea of transmission, okay? So teaching is the most concrete term, right? What do we teach? And here comes the first problem. Most of the time, if we work in a school context, we are teaching content, knowledge that has been decided, screened, several levels beyond. So we feel more or less the owners of that knowledge, and that has consequences. A teacher has a desire, okay, to share content with the learners. She puts or he puts intent into it, etc., etc. And that is crucial for education. But we also have to remember that without the desire of the learners, the persistence and obsession in buying, if you allow me, to buy that content and knowledge that we are trying to sell them, there is no education either, right? Second term, implicit teachings. This is a little bit more elusive to define, but we can say that it's not systematic, it's not part of the curriculum, it's not easy to assess, and it's kind of random. Why? What do I mean by implicit teaching? It's probably what the teacher shares, even involuntary, with his or her students, okay? It's what comes from his or her personality, okay? The way he or she looks at things, lessons, etc., etc. But they are important. They are an important part of the educational process in the sense that they shape our identities as human beings, okay? They shape our identities and our personalities. So that is the second element, and that's what we do more or less systematically, most of the time unsystematically. And the third element, as I said, is transmission. What is transmission, or when does a teacher have an opportunity to carry out transmission? It's when the person, and here it's conscious, passes, offers, shares his knowledge, okay? And perhaps most importantly, even his or her relationship with that knowledge, okay? His passion, even what he finds annoying or not being able to solve about certain areas. And another important difference with the common ordinary curriculum teaching is that in any case, what we have to do in this case is to give the students the chance to reconvert that knowledge, to take it out into the open, to transform, okay? That's a key difference. This is when, again, I find, connect the dots, and I find the minimally invasive education approach that Mr. Mitra, Dr. Mitra, thought about and shared with many of us. It's so inspiring, okay? That gave me a completely different outlook on education, and it made me want to go back to working with young children, which is what I do now in different roles, right? So if you have been listening to all the things that we teachers do in many different capacities, you will agree with me that perhaps it's a bit difficult to really say how I have influenced different people, okay? I can only say that I have worked for the past 3 decades with thousands of teachers and learners. So, but what my message is that all of us are part of this ecosystem, and that it's for each person to say what I have tried to share with them at different points in my life. In that case, for example, technology, what I have always tried to transmit is that technology has to be used, but with a critical outlook, that we cannot become slaves to technology, etc., etc. And I'm sure most people have agreed with me, have bought into that idea and taken it further to put it to good uses in their everyday classrooms. So I cannot feel but extremely satisfied with that, okay? There is one more thing that I want to say today on this special occasion, and it's that technology lately has helped us a great deal in the pandemics, right? In the pandemic to be able to maintain ties, links, to continue educating, teaching, making attempts at transmission at virtual schools, at home, etc., etc. But I want to bring one statistic up. At least this holds true for my country, and I'm sure it's the case in many other countries. 9 out of 10 adults helping children, supporting children's education during the pandemic have been women. Okay? And what did we do with technology? We offered the world so that students didn't feel alone, help them discover ways they could overcome grief, alienation, contribute to world healing. It's still our mission as women, as human beings, to send and get the message right, to write the message. We can do it. Women can, as statistics show. Women at this historical moment are the wings of change. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Marbil, sharing your inspiring journey with us and definitely sharing the importance of transmission and connecting dots and using the soul approach. Thank you so much. So audience, I know you all are motivated and I can see a few questions in the chat box. So let me see. I can see a few questions here from Sucheta and from, sorry if I pronounce it wrong. Is it Iham Yunus? I absolutely agree with you, Miss Kathy, but according to our culture in Arabic and Islamic countries, we women tried and still try to face all challenges to get on well with all aspects in the society. It is hard, but we nearly succeed in every end. So this is not a question. Thank you for sharing your views here with us. So the question is to panelist Pallavi. Pallavi ma'am, this is from Sucheta. We have heard of teaching core disciplines using unconventional strategies such as drama and dance. I am curious to know that are there research to show dance as therapy for physical and mental ailments? Over to you, Pallavi ma'am.
Hello. Dance is one of the best way to relieve stress and bring balance and coordination in body. Dancing adds to our physical and mental health by helping prevent falls, improve posture and flexibility. It also lifts moods and helps decrease anxiety. It helps sharpen our mind, increase aerobic power and strength.
Thank you so much, Pallavi ma'am. Now it's time to conclude our session because there is time limitation. I know audience is thrilled to listen to you and more questions you want to put up, but due to certain time limitation, we will have to conclude. I would like to thank all the speakers for their inspiring talks and for a wonderful session. I would also like to thank NIIT University for having organized this session. And without our wonderful audience, this session would not have been huge success. Thank you for all being there. Special mention to the editor-in-chief of Sindhudurg Live and cable channel for relaying this live in Konkan region. Thank you, Aditi Banaulikar, for taking lead on connecting with NU. I would also like to thank the Educatomic team, students from NIIT University, for having made the session possible. Our special thanks to Sir Balendu Bhatnagar, our technical head, NIIT University, for his relentless support. Thank you, Dhanyavad, Danke.